And that's why Santa Claus wears white on white. Eggnog.
White on white? Doesn't he wear
Coca-Cola, red, white. Never mind. Bad joke. Take it away.
The polar bears would make more sense for eggnog. Because they're already...
No,
I don't think
guys,
it
was
works.
lost a long time ago. I don't know why we're still trying to save this particular joke.
Hello and welcome to Let Me Look That Up, the show where we use the internet to try to answer life's trivial questions. I'm Mike.
I'm Giovanni.
And I'm just here to have a little bit of fun. My name's Tristan.
We've all been there. You're hanging out with a couple of friends and suddenly a random question pops up like, how does Santa Claus look like?
And that's when somebody pulls out their phone to see if they can find the answer.
That's what this show's all about. Just a couple of friends trying to find answers to life's mysteries.
As William Shakespeare famously wrote, "Ah, alas, internet and wonderful windows dost thou ponder upon my mind." Did you guys know that that's the original, like, it was more of a Scottish? Yeah. So I wanted to get started today with a question for you guys. What is your favorite holiday drink?
Holiday drink?
I mean, anything that I can sip through a candy cane is spot on.
Through a candy cane?
Yeah, you don't have hollow candy canes in your part of the country?
I do not think I've ever encountered
that's
a hollow...
Twizzlers. I'm sorry. That was... No, not even Twizzlers.
They
Or
taste
Red Vine.
exactly the same.
Red Vine. Do they make peppermint red vines?
No.
No?
I mean, I guess I'm the researcher. I couldn't look that up.
Should they? Should they make those?
That's the real question. It's not whether they do. It's should they.
Should they? I personally appreciate warm drinks. I grew up in an area that actually has weather, unlike the majority of Southern California. So I enjoy mostly hot beverages, but I do like a good eggnog every once in a while.
I think I'm in the hot beverage category. Like, hot cocoa is pretty darn great.
Man, I'm down for like a margarita and like Cinco de Mayo. That's a holiday drink, right?
Wow.
He's not wrong.
I guess that's on us. I guess that's on us for limiting it to the season that we're in.
Yeah,
exactly.
I like to drink the blood of Jesus for Easter.
Wow.
Just with it's great.
That's great. Got a real holier than thou vibe going over there, Tristan.
Tristan, your suggestion or your favorite holiday drink actually brings up the question. I typically only see eggnog during the winter holiday season, Christmas time. And it made me really wonder, why is eggnog so associated with Christmas?
It's just it's too viscous for summer, right?
Yeah, but we drink milkshakes in the summer.
Touche. Et tu, Brute?
That's actually a really good point. And, I don't think it's served warm necessarily. It can be, right?
Could it be warm? Like, it would kind of come across as like a pudding type thing if it was warm. Like, can you imagine a nice
scramble
crust,
it?
a nice crust on your eggnog you break with your spoon?
Yeah, that like a creme brulee, but a creme eggnog.
An egg brulee.
So it's served cold, so by that logic, it could be served in a hotter temperature because it's served
ice cream,
cold.
Mm-hmm.
Slushies, etc., etc.
Yeah, and it almost doesn't make sense to be in the winter season because that's when it's typically colder. So why would you want a cold drink?
Yeah, hot beverages all around.
So what I'm hearing is that after we're done recording here, we're all going to boil up some eggnog.
This is reminding me of the Dr. Pepper thing, that where for a while it was encouraged to be drinking warm on the holidays. Tristan, you and I have had a good hot pepper.
Oh yeah,
Oh, a hot doctor?
A
We've
hot
had a hot doctor?
is what we call it. I've had a couple of hot doctors.
A McDreamy, if you will.
That all sounds disgusting. Like everything we've talked about just sounds awful.
Well, you're the one trying to pitch hot eggnog over here.
I realized the error of my way. As soon
Yeah.
as I said it, I was like, I didn't know I could dislike eggnog more.
Yeah.
And then I said it, and I was like, wow, this is awful.
Are you 100% against eggnog? Are you like a no eggnog in the house type of guy?
I'm,
On
I
Cinco de
don't,
Mayo, I assume?
that's the only time I have eggnog is Cinco de Mayo.
He has an eggnog margarita.
Well, what was funny was I was in the store, and eggnog is technically available year round. Like you can find it in the store. It's always one tiny shelf where there's 3 eggnogs that were probably made 4 years ago. That they're
Next to the old Easter bunnies?
exactly. But I was just in the store the other day, and it said holiday eggnog, which made me even more confused because I was
Right.
like, isn't it already associated with the Christmas holiday? So what connects it?
And
Right.
is there a difference between year-round eggnog and holiday eggnog? Is there just like a little bit more cinnamon and nutmeg?
Yeah, it's the nutmeg. No nutmeg outside of winter.
Nutmeg is winter season only.
Right.
Eggnog is allergic to nutmeg outside of November, December, January. So it's
Seasonal allergies. I get that.
Seasonal allergies. No, wrong, banned.
My assumption is, and this is going to be a twist on this show, is I honest to goodness do not have one. There's no tradition in the modern times that I'm aware of that really connects eggnog to anything remotely Christmas. And extending that out, even like we know where egg comes from in the word. We get that.
From an egg, I assume.
Yeah. But how many nogs do we have going around in the modern day?
Outside of like a good D&D session, right?
Yes. But, are there any other drinks or anything that you know of that have nog in it?
Oh. Yeah, I'm trying to think of anything that would be blank nog. And all I can think of is like, it's not even a drink, it's Nickelodeon's noggin, and that has nothing to do with this.
Like head, noggin?
Head, yeah.
Yeah, no, I've got nothing for like why nog would be part of the word. Why is egg so prominently I don't think it's mostly milky. Milk nog would make more sense to me.
It's the thing that really, there's that line of once Thanksgiving hits, eggnog it's in all the Christmas movies.
It's back on the menu,
everywhere.
boys.
Yeah, it's the McRib of holiday drinks, and honest to goodness, I know nothing about it.
Okay. Okay.
I know no history about it.
So here's a theory. I was randomly, searching through the internets the other day, and there was talk about you should really age your eggnog. Like if you make eggnog the same day you drink it, you're doing it wrong, which led to a lot of fears and concerns.
How long do you age your eggnog?
Well, this one guy wrote an article about aging his eggnog for 1 year. Turns out he added the alcohol early. So that's a preservative. We're crisis averted.
Because eggs and dairy go bad after all.
Yeah. No, if you leave eggs and dairy together, they magically are no longer gross. But no, it's the alcohol that. So I'm wondering if the reason why it's a good winter treat is because it's something that they can you can start in fall and then you can still have it all through the winter if you make enough. A barrel of nog as you do.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
But
Huh.
That's my closest, and that's only something I came across this year. So historically, I would never have assumed that eggnog is a thing that should be drunk in the winter.
Yeah.
Drinking, consumed. I'm gonna go with consumed from now on.
I think on top of that, just an interesting kind of aside is almost everybody loves a good milkshake.
They bring all the boys to the yard.
But eggnog, you get there are some strong feelings on both sides of the field with eggnog. It's either eggnog is disgusting, or you drink 3 bottles of of Costco-sized eggnog
Yeah.
in a
Cartons.
month. Cartons. Well, some of them come in the bottle.
Oh, that's true. So my wife Stacy and I are clearly on opposite sides of this particular debate. I am a full like yes to nog, and Stacy is it doesn't belong in the house, and if it's in the house before Thanksgiving, I've done something wrong.
Can it be in the house on Thanksgiving?
She says no, but like she's she loves me. She makes some considerations for my needs, such as having eggnog in the house on Thanksgiving Day.
So there's a clear line for her of post Thanksgiving eggnog is allowed.
It's story time real quick.
Okay.
My birthday is in middle of September, which, before the 21st, and it is a summer birthday. The summer does not end until the 21st of September.
Right.
So I've made a rule in my house that there's no pumpkin spice in my house. Well, it can be in the house. Nobody is consuming pumpkin spice in front of me in my house before my birthday.
Uh-huh.
So I've kind of set a precedent in the house about this like really strict line. But it's not so much I don't want people to enjoy fall early, it's I want people to treat my birthday as a summer birthday.
Right. You want to be sitting on the beach celebrating your summer birthday with a nice cool glass of eggnog.
It's exact like hot dog on the grill, eggnog in the hand, I'm ready to go.
It's not a real barbecue unless there's an eggnog mustache going on.
Yeah. Hollow out that hot dog and use that as your straw.
There's the straw I've been looking for.
Oh, that's awful.
Solved all your problems, Giovanni.
I think for me, the consistency has always been the hardest part for me. Milkshakes, I feel, have a really the ice cream makes it thick.
Right.
To a point where you can use a spoon to eat it if you wanted to.
Yeah.
And once it starts melting, I kind of lose interest in it.
Yeah.
It's a melted milkshake.
There's a certain point of milkshake, like ice cream, it hits a certain viscosity.
Yeah.
And it's no longer acceptable.
Yeah.
And eggnog is in that no longer acceptable viscosity.
I think so.
Okay.
Honest to goodness, for Giovanni's sake, I will give it a go. I will try it. It's been a while.
I appreciate that
because I can't.
Let me send
remember
you a
what
carved out hot dog in the melon.
By the time it gets here, it'll be as hard as an actual straw. So
yeah. Nothing
sorry.
better than a hollowed out hot dog sent through the mail to then consume your eggnog.
They're going to think you're a terrorist. Please don't do that.
I think that qualifies as terrorism.
Yeah, it's causing me terror.
All right. So
Sorry.
yeah, where do they come from? Is what we're looking at, right?
Wait, is the question what is nog?
Let's
is
do
the question,
two.
like,
Let's
why
do
is it a
two
winter
questions.
thing?
Let's do two questions. One, where does eggnog come from? And two, where did it gain its association with Christmas?
Okay,
Because I think those are two that a lot of people would like answered.
Right,
And
two
by a lot of
similar-
people, I mean me.
And you're
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yes. So I think I'm going to go and submit my speculation as to why it's associated with Christmas, as it is like a dairy/egg product that is preservable.
Okay. Yeah, my thought for why it's even a thing is my guess is that somebody made a custard, because custard is the one that's made with eggs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So somebody made a custard, it got a little bit warm and melted, and they didn't want to give up their delicious sweet treat. And
you're talking about like a frozen custard, not like a pudding custard.
Oh yeah, sorry. Frozen custard, similar to ice cream. And they were like, you know what? I'm okay drinking a thick liquid custard.
Yeah, sprinkle some nutmeg on it. It'll be fine.
Yeah. It needs a little bit of flavor because the egg and milk has gone wrong. So let's put some rum and some nutmeg on it.
I do think that Giovanni's preservative idea might actually hold true, because that idea of they made something and they could probably if they're in a cold area, it'll probably last a few days, and then the idea of well, how do we got a jug of this stuff left. How are we gonna like hold on to it so it doesn't go bad? And then one guy's just like, put some booze in it, you know.
That's the answer to most life's problem.
Yeah, just put some booze in it.
Well, see, what's that science joke? Alcohol is a solution to most problems. Well, alcohol is a solution.
By science, do you mean The Simpsons? Because that's in The Simpsons.
I mean, the technical definition of solution is like alcohol. Never mind.
Okay. I thought it was beer, the cause and solution to all of life's problems. I know I butchered that, but
I mean, from what we've learned from The Simpsons, they're not wrong.
Right. Okay, so I'm sorry. That was a derailing moment on my part. Let me. Can somebody get us back on?
Yeah. I would agree with that, and I also think that the winter season, depending on when eggnog came around, it could have to do with you don't really have a cold beverage until the winter when the world makes ice for you.
Yeah, that's true. Outside is your refrigerator, so just why not?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because depending on the century it was made, they probably took advantage of the cold weather in that sort.
Although, as we're talking about this, I do have this sinking feeling that eggnog originally was supposed to be like lukewarm
or hot,
or hot.
Heated up.
Like I'm starting to
stove.
feel like that might actually not be off base here.
All right, Mike.
That sinking feeling is just the hot dog falling into the egg. Okay,
Mike. Theoretically, you've done some research on this already. So tell me all your thoughts on nog.
I have one reference because when I was looking it up, the dependability of references as the internet goes is not that great, because even some of the major journalistic outlets, when I was reading through it, I'm like, that doesn't actually answer any of my questions. This is just like a weird diatribe of sorts.
Yeah, you just wrote an article based on people's tweets. That doesn't make sense.
There's not some like university sponsored research on the eggnog and its origins?
No, because there's a war on Christmas, so
yeah.
that can't work.
My bad. Yeah, so like Cambridge is doing a study and they discover the skull of King Richard III and the original recipe for eggnog. That didn't happen.
I know I can answer the nog portion. I genuinely can't answer the connection to the Christmas, because everywhere I looked, I couldn't figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
So, we were joking about the Nickelodeon and the noggin thing.
Uh-huh.
But the word noggin refers to your head, but also in places in Ireland, even today, to a small drinking vessel.
Huh.
So you're saying I'm drinking way too much eggnog is what you're saying? I do a full-size
You're supposed
glass.
to just do like a shot.
A little sip.
That explains all the Christmas stories you have later, So egg, from eating it, egg as a ingredient that they were using. I can tell you why eggnog was actually consumed during the winter season is typically because of the harvest ending at winter season. It was kind of like a celebratory drink.
Okay.
And so they made it to celebrate the end of the harvest, and they celebrate it that way. A lot of wherever it may come from, nog was also in some parts of the UK was a strong variety of beer. And so it could be like it was the egg-based alcoholic drink, or like an egg beer, so eggnog, or it was the egg drink in a small drinking vessel, so eggnog in that way. It was used as a celebratory drink, but it becoming a staple during the Christmas season, the article I read was literally the headline was, "Why does eggnog and Christmas go together?" kind of thing. And as I got to the end, my conclusion was, I don't know. So,
right.
I know a little bit about eggnog, but I still don't know how Christmas came to connect with it.
So it sounds like there is a tradition that makes sense because of it being a celebratory drink at the end of the harvest going into the winter season.
Right.
So
that's where we can kind of make more assumptions based off of that, because it's around the same seasonal time as Christmas. But it's a really popular drink in America. So how did that come to be? How did it become a staple?
Yeah. Did you get a country of origin when you were looking that up?
Not. It seems like it was like UK area. UK area, but again, this could be wrong. They say English. One quote here has, "The English have been mixing eggnog for several hundred years, and the drink crossed the Atlantic with the early American colonists."
All right. Well, that solves that.
I was particularly interested in the question of whether or not eggnog is or was served hot, and it appears that there is a tradition of a hot egg drink served in the winter.
Delicious.
That's got to be like a curd or something.
Yeah.
Right. So according to Wikipedia, which we know who's running Wikipedia, right?
The government.
It's actually open source. Anybody can. Never mind. Most eggnog. Most historians, culinary historians, that's the thing. You can be a culinary historian. Said that it probably originated in the medieval British, and it comes from a medieval British drink called posset, which was made with hot milk. So, like, it started off as a hot drink, it sounds like.
All right. I was right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so that might explain why it's a winter drink, is because A, it's storable with the alcohol, and B, is it was originally a hot drink.
All
which,
right.
man, like, ooh, I'm so uncomfortable just thinking about it.
New tradition starting this year. Christmas Day, gonna have the options of hot Dr. Pepper or a hot eggnog.
Yeah.
Only choice. No hot chocolate.
Those are your two choices. We're very, very close to mixing the two and seeing what happens.
Yeah, I mean that's that's the natural next step. Is a hot egg doctor.
Yeah, I've decided. Tristan, you and I decided this Dr. Nog. Tristan, you and I decided this last year that we want our kids to think it's normal to come in from a sledding trip and get hot Dr. Pepper.
Oh yeah,
definitely. Like, that's just what people do, right?
Yeah.
Is that child abuse?
Well, if they, it's not.
Just imagining the kids like later in their lives being
adults. They go to a friend's house,
and then they go skiing trip with their friends, and then they see them drinking a cold Dr. Pepper. It's like, what are you doing, you monster?
You monster! Yeah. No, everybody knows when you're done skiing, you have a hot Dr. Pepper. So yeah, we can add eggnog to the. I think the challenge with eggnog is like you're not going to scald the Dr. Pepper very easy. You definitely are going to like start having a scramble at some point with the eggnog.
Yeah, that's when you were saying that. I was just using all of my Great British Baking Show knowledge and thinking about how they came up with that. And it's like, at what point are you actually putting the egg in? Like, because if it's based off a hot milk drink, that's the base of it. And so are you mixing the egg in with the milk prior to cooking it? Or
right, like the temperature at which
where does the egg come in?
Yeah, at what point do you just have a boiled egg in your hot milk?
Right.
Okay. How much egg is in eggnog?
In a nog?
Is there enough egg in the nog to actually get the name eggnog? Or were there different types of nogs that people would like? I mean, going back to what you asked earlier, are there different nogs? And then this one was just like let's put an egg in it. And
well, because even that milk nog had some other weird name with starting with a P. It's like that's not as catchy.
Yeah, like somebody made some hot milk, and they're like, "Oh, I love a warm glass of milk before I go to bed."
Hey guys,
and then it became a thing.
I want to add this fun little tidbit. Eggnog, historically also known as milk punch or egg milk punch.
Oh, milk punch.
So it's a punch. You know, I'm thinking back to what's a soup? What's a punch?
What's a punch?
Can you add tomato? Is that a good milk substitute in milk punch?
Guys.
No.
Eggnog.
No. Ew.
No?
I don't know of anything that has just like with one small change just makes it the worst thing in the world.
I mean, you might be able to make a nice tomato soup out of that.
Tomatoes, a couple eggs, some rum.
Oh gosh.
None of that sounds like actually bad. If you think about it, it's when you start adding it's like the sugar.
So much sugar.
and the nutmeg. Like that starts getting a little iffy.
Hey, if we go this route, I learned this week that fancy ketchup is has to do with the amount of like tomato versus other additives in the ketchup. So like if you see fancy ketchup on the bottle, it means that it's a higher concentration of tomatoes. Mm-hmm. So I mean, theoretically, we could have fancy eggnog, just higher consistency of tomato in the nog. Mm-hmm.
We've made up so many good eggnog variations today. I'm very excited for
there are people there are people listening that are just like, just use like oat milk or something, not tomatoes.
Anything
like
but
coconut
tomatoes.
milk.
There are alternatives.
Wait, I mean, we don't have to travel down this path, but is there vegan eggnog?
Vegnog?
No.
Vegnog. Because you'd have to replace the dairy and the egg. Mm-hmm. And do those items work well together? I don't know. If we've got a vegan out there that enjoys an eggnog or a vegnog, let us know.
Yeah, that's actually a good question. Like,
can
you have an egg-free eggnog? Will it taste the same? Like,
yeah, egg substitute eggnog.
Yeah.
I really want to hear from somebody who grew up liking eggnog and then became vegan, and I want to hear like the comparison from their perspective.
Oh yeah.
So they've had the real thing and then the substitute thing.
Right. That's the real like. Is it eggnog? All right.
So I think we've answered one question so far, right?
Yeah.
We've answered the kind of where did it come from?
Where did it go?
Where did it come from, Cotton Eye Joe? Mm-hmm.
Ooh, Wikipedia's backing me up in my argument with Stacy as well.
Okay.
Throughout Canada and the United States, eggnog is traditionally consumed over the Christmas season from late October until the end of the holiday season. So, late October is the beginning of Christmas season. Deal with it.
In Canada, maybe.
That's right. Their Thanksgiving is in like September, so maybe.
According to Target, Christmas starts in September.
Yeah, according to their storerooms, it starts in June.
Yeah. Okay, so we have a.
Oh, guys.
Yeah.
Sorry. The noggin, like the brain thing, like your head noggin. Middle English term for a small carved wooden mug. So that's what you were saying earlier, Mike. Was that it was a drinking vessel, but that also explains the like cranium relationship with noggin. Like your head is an upside down carved wooden drinking vessel,
wooden mug.
Mm-hmm. They were drinking egg drinks out of people's heads.
That clunk, clunk sound? Wow.
Yeah. The Vikings would drink out of, and then someone was like, "What if we just made this out of wood? That's less gross."
Steven, you're a genius.
Steven, you're a genius. Is it Sven? Wouldn't it be Sven?
It would be
You're a
Sven,
genius.
yeah.
It was a really progressive.
It was
futuristic.
Steve Sven. Oh, that's bad. Delete
Steve
that.
Let's go and do a clap take to get rid of that.
I'm just gonna bleep that later. So there we do have an established that eggnog probably came from somewhere in England, drinking during the winter season, that it could have originally been hot, but turned into a cold drink out of a mug, essentially, that was called a nog or noggin. So we have eggnog.
I think your winter celebrate, it's in winter because it's part of the harvest celebration, and really the Thanksgiving and the winter solstice celebrations were like harvest type celebrations.
Yeah.
So it makes sense why that would be associated with that time of year.
Right.
I think we actually answered that. We just didn't know it.
Yeah. I think so too. So now, Wikipedia Almighty stated that eggnog is had between October and whenever you said it ended, but as like a holiday drink. Now we just need to figure out. I'm assuming, my guess would be it's just the transition of time. The tradition continued on, but society at hand kind of adjusted to why it's still there. Because as more time went on, the need for celebration of the harvest ending became less, but that doesn't mean that like grandparents weren't still introducing the drink to grandkids or adults.
Right. Mm-hmm. Some grandparents were still forcing their children to drink hot Dr. Pepper.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think it's probably just as time went on, Christmas season, the holiday season, became more of the focal point of that time frame. And so the tradition of that time frame just kind of got a new cover on it, of instead of a winter solstice celebration, the end of the harvest celebration, into Christmas time.
Right.
That would be my assumption.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Yeah, I think similar to the McRib, you made that as just kind of a passing reference of a seasonal thing, but I think it's just marketing. Like, people took something that was popular from, and I don't like giving that answer, but
big eggnog is what you're saying.
Big eggnog was like, hey, I got a big egg in my nog.
Big nog.
Yeah. What if we just make this? What if we have 3 cartons in every store for the whole year?
Take the word holiday off.
But take the word holiday off, and then in November,
boom,
holiday nog,
blow it up.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
That makes sense. And the hard part about this one, and for at least for that aspect, is I don't think there's going to be like a nexus point historically. Like, I don't think there's going to be an event that's like, this is where it transitioned.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like
the War of 1812, when they had run out of everything but eggnog, et cetera, et cetera.
Exactly. Like, I think it's going to be that it just slowly transitioned into that, and that's just what everyone knows now.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think there's a hard line of when it happened, because if it was a winter drink already, it makes sense that it would just easily transition into, well, everything in the winter is related to holidays, and so therefore it is a holiday drink now.
Yeah. I think that's a fair conclusion for that portion of the question, because we've definitely have been able to find evidence through Wikipedia that it was
we call it evidence on this show.
That it was consumed at the end of the year in the winter season, for either celebration, preserve, whatever it might be, and the question that we're not going to be able to find, and a hard fact article is, that transition between the ending of harvest celebration to it being replaced with Christmas time. And I do think your marketing idea is probably the most accurate, because by the 50s, probably, I would assume the 50s, there's, going to be factories producing it. It's not just something you make at home, but it's something that they're producing to sell. So let's market it in that way to where it's Christmassy.
Yeah. No, it makes sense.
So we've established where it comes from, most likely England, around what time of the year, and the reasoning for it, which it originally was a celebratory drink that was had right after the harvest, which is November, December area.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is the concrete we know. The stuff that we're kind of speculating still is the transition between harvest celebration and Christmas, but most likely harvest celebration was becoming less prominent, but Christmas was becoming more prominent, and people still liked eggnog.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a drink that magically lost its value just because the harvest wasn't something as prevalent.
Right.
And so today you will find in your grocery store holiday eggnog as opposed to regular eggnog, which is due to the fact that nutmeg is more prevalent during Christmas. Amen.
Amen. I just had this thought, and I mean, it's something that we didn't even consider. We're all thinking about the Northern Hemisphere.
Mm-hmm.
But the Southern Hemisphere,
man, we're so Eurocentric in the show.
Do they have eggnog? So I'm like specifically thinking of the countries that are part of the Commonwealth, like Australia and New Zealand.
Mm-hmm.
Do they have eggnog, and what time of year do they consume it?
Because their Christmas would be summer.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
And their winter would be our 4th of July.
Right. Exactly.
Which they clearly celebrate.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, I know we have a huge international audience. And so if somebody from South Africa or New Zealand or Australia or the Philippines wants to chime in, man, we'd love to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. I need to make sure the Philippines is in the Southern Hemisphere.
Yeah. Oh, and our those of you that are in France, do you have eggnog in France?
Yeah. Other,
Philippines,
non-English speaking, I guess, non-English speaking countries, is that something that's prevalent? Or if, you're in a adjacent European country, a Western country, quote unquote, do you have your own version of eggnog? Something that maybe falls similar to it? Because I'm sure in Europe there were similar things, but maybe not. Maybe the alcohol is different, or maybe instead of nutmeg, it's, tomato sprinkles or something.
Some basil.
Basil.
Yeah. Well, if you have something that you want to add to this conversation, if you are from another country and you have a different eggnog, hit us up on our social media. You can leave us a message with your answers. You can tag us on Instagram, Twitter, or find us on Facebook. Also, if you have a question that you have about this topic, about anything that you'd like us to look up, go ahead and shoot those questions at us. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter at Let Me Look That Up, or on Facebook at Let Me Look That Up Pod. If you like the show, subscribe on your favorite podcast platform and leave us a review. If you enjoy listening to us look that up, you can support the show at buymeacoffee.com/letmelookthatUp. All our links are in the description or on our website, letmelookthatUp.com.
Thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you next time on Let Me Look That Up. I'm Mike.
I'm your biscuit boy, Giovanni.
And I'm Tristan. If you like the show, be sure to describe
Describe it to your friends in excruciating
describe
detail.
it word for word.